and of course he's here. He's going to respond to some of them. Bwana PS, karibu sana.
Morning, Isaac.
Good to have you.
Thank you. We are doing well. Let me take this opportunity to greet our viewers, the sports fans, and everybody who is in sports. Good morning. We are here to discuss matter sports, and by the end of the day, I believe any concerns, any questions, in one way or another, we are going to address it.
Absolutely.
Here we are.
Absolutely. And thanks for coming and, of course, having that bravery to face the public. Not many accept this. But let's begin just from what Isia has presented. The Sports Bill 2026. Of course, I know there's a panel of experts led by Council John Ohaga, who went down just to put this in place, and the sports stakeholders. We have an existing law in the country, the Sports Act 2013. Of course, that came during the tenure, the first tenure of Ababu Namwamba. From where you sit, why the need to relook at the law?
Thank you. We have a team that has been working on sports policy at the Sports Act. The sports policy was formulated in the year 2005. Then after that, we had the Sports Act enacted in the year 2013, which has been governing matters to do with the sports in this country. Well, over time, things have changed. The sports policy was formulated even before we passed on the new constitution. And as you are aware, we have a sports policy which defines then the way or the path for the Sports Act. And of course, even by then, the year 2013, the number of sports disciplines that we had then, you may say that it has changed. The funding, even the interest that we have right now has changed. And therefore, there was need for us to ensure that we update our laws so that they can be taken to the current status. Sir has already discussed the issues, mostly that are in the proposed policy and act. In fact, we are almost overhauling the current Sports Act.
Actually, that's the
so
question.
that we can bring in the new developments that are expected. For instance, we have a department in the Ministry of Sports. This department deals with registration of sportsmen and sportswomen. And you realize in the proposed Sports Act, we want to bring in a regulator. Now, somebody may ask, if I make a proposal seeking for registration of my club or to be registered as sportsman or a federations, what happens? So right now, it has been well explained in this Sports Act proposal. And therefore, I would wish to invite Kenyans, those who are interested in matter sports, just take your time. We have the proposal in our website. Go through them. Within the next few weeks, we are going to invite for a sports conference so that we can have the discussion, candid discussion. And I believe some of the proposals that we'll get from public will be incorporated in the final bill that may be taken to the cabinet and then to the parliament.
Absolutely. And quick questions already coming, quick and thick. I believe you know Julius Yego.
Right.
Yeah, that's our Javelin star, a big fan of the show. He's already thrown a comment here and he's saying, we appreciate what the government is doing in sport infrastructure, development and renovations. But the question is, how serious will the protection and safety of these infrastructure be if the same are being used for other issues? It's very expensive to do renovations. Could we also have the membership thing on accessibility of these by athletes, because it's very expensive to pay daily to train at these facilities? That's Julius Yego. And at the same time, maybe you can take that before we come to the other issues raising.
Thank you, Julius. Julius is a well-known athlete in this country. He has made his name, trained, and he has been representing us very well as a country. It is true that we incur a lot of expense, number one, to construct these facilities, not our own maintenance. We do appreciate His Excellency the President William Ruto, because in his term, 3 years now, the number of stadiums that we are developing across the country are so many. We have a proposal to develop 25 new stadiums. In essence, each and every county will be having a stadium. Why are we doing so? One, for us to develop sports, we need infrastructure. And it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that we have the right infrastructure for our sportsmen and women to train and, of course, to compete on those infrastructure. And therefore, having spent all those resources to do those stadiums, we need to ensure that they are well maintained to serve their purpose. What we have done, Isaac, we have a team in the ministry that is working on a framework on management of sports facilities. From the Sports Act 2013, we have Sports Kenya as an agency that maintains the national stadiums. National stadiums means the Kasarani, the Moi International Sports Center Kasarani, the Nyayo National Stadium, and of course, maybe Talanta for now, or the Raila Odinga Stadium. But then, what about the new stadiums that we are constructing across the country? And then the need for a framework to do that. And number two, you may realize that these stadiums are being constructed in counties, and therefore the land belongs to the county. We have a constitution which defines the responsibilities, and number two, sports is a devolved function. It's
a devolved function, and I just want to pick your thought on that. We've seen governors, and this since the advent of Constitution 2010, probably the desire to give facilities to these players. What most governors are doing, Bwana PS, with all due respect to them, what they are constructing in those counties is more of a cowshed. They don't really meet the international standards, or let me say the national standards. We have one in Kisumu, I told it's international. Its state is deplorable right now. The state of City Stadium is an old facility. We've seen some in Kakamega right now undergoing renovation. I can go on and on. You know the unfortunate situation in Mombasa. Back then walikuwa naita uwanja wa manispa pale Mombasa. Actually, it was abandoned. If you go there, it's an eyesore. And we've seen this in county after county. Probably, sports is a devolved function, yes. But shouldn't we have a standard? And of course, you are the man at the forefront guiding sports policy by virtue of being the sports PS. What's your response maybe to this? Is it a concern?
Thank you. It is true that we need to have standards in development of these stadiums. I can say we have a standard right now. The stadiums that we are putting across are uniform. We have a design that has been developed by the Kenya School of TVET, which has provided us with a sample that we are adopting across the board. And number two, we have brought in the federations. For instance, the Athletics Kenya, they are very instrumental in ensuring that the running tracks meet the standard, including now the FKF, who are there to ensure that the playing field, and even the other federations, including rugby and the likes. And therefore, we have one standard that we are working on. And number two, we may not fault the counties because they were doing their work, of course, after the advent of the Constitution. But then, because we live in one country, we serve the same people. There was importance that we have a standardized and, of course, stadiums that meet the requirement of CAF and, of course, athletics and those other agencies. The county stadiums that were developed then, maybe they are working, but quite a number of them, they had issues. And then they came, they had a discussion with His Excellency the President William Ruto, and out of that, we were invited together with Defense to ensure that we ensure that the stadiums that are in the counties meet the standard. Right now, for your information, we have already sent a team together with the Kenya Defense in Kisumu. there's a stadium that is ongoing there. In Siaya, we are upgrading the stadium that had been constructed by the county in
government.
Siaya. Of course, when we went to Homa Bay, we upgraded the stadium that was in Homa Bay. On Wednesday, we will be in Mombasa with the PS for Defense. We shall have an engagement with the governor there so that we see what we need to do to have the stadium that had been initiated by the county
and actually
is done to conclusion.
And even as we go to Mombasa to do that, the question is the venue ideal? Because right now, I know just adjacent to that stadium, we've had houses constructed there, lots of it. So probably those are the things probably you need to explore, and also with the experts, because with the construction, you'll expect a lot of crowd during match days.
Well, we visited Morocco the other day, and one of the stadiums that we visited in Casablanca, the one that was hosting the third and fourth playoff, Mohammed V Stadium. It is within a residential area.
Just hold that thought. We'll go big on AFCON in Stadia, just hold that thought. But still, Diego is posing this question. Athletes welfare, and actually we have athletes actually right now running at in Upper Hill, Ministry of Sports headquarters, basically in protest against doping and SGBV, which also speaks to the athletes welfare. And Diego is saying he feels athletes welfare is not well looked into, and he's citing the example of the World Cross Country in Belgrade. He's saying the team, that's the medal winners, the whole contingent, or rather Team Kenya to World Cross Country, haven't been paid Africa Games, rather their bonuses from Accra, Ghana. That was in 2024. He's also citing the Africa Senior Athletics Championships, which went down in Douala, Cameroon in 2024. So Diego says when they win these honors and glory, when they return home, they received a lot of pomp and fanfare at the airport. But at the end of it all, he's citing these cases, they haven't been paid. Well,
thank you. Let me finalize on the issues to do with stadium. Then we have a time for the welfare. I was informing you that in the ministry we have a team that is developing a framework that shall guide on the maintenance and, of course, for self-sustainability of these stadiums that we are working on. Because when you go to counties, you know, we have different priorities for different counties. So we may have stadiums that are very well done, but within some time, some years, they are abandoned. And therefore, the need for that.
Actually,
we are going to work with the county government as part of this framework, so that then we can ensure that the stadiums that has already been constructed, they are self-sustainable. There's a model that we shall be submitting even to the public for their contribution.
How do you ensure this is done? Because that's a major challenge we've had as well.
Well, we want to bring in commercialization of these stadiums, and to ensure that the government is not very much involved in the operations. We bring in quasi-private arrangements so that then those stadiums can be well maintained and looked into equally. I had Diego talk about the payments that they do to access those stadiums. We are looking at a situation whereby some of our facilities, for instance, you may realize that our swimming pool at Nyayo has not been functional for some years. And for that, it means that we have a challenge with those who may wish to be in that games. So what we have done, right now we have a new Director General at Sports Kenya. And the discussion that we have given him is that he ensure different models to ensure that we have functional facilities. For instance, for the swimming pool, we want to ensure that we get a private player who will come, develop, and maintain, and of course, charge some small fees, which will be shared with the government. Equally, in our indoors games, you know, we have 2 in Kasarani and 1 in Nyayo. We want to bring in, again, private players,
because
so that they can also manage.
They're really the best of shape right now.
They develop it, they maintain it, so that they can be the best of shape. And many others that we are working on. Then on the welfare of our athletes, it is true, the government has a policy on rewarding athletes. Number one, when we said our athletes for competition internationally, the government takes care of their welfare. That is, by the time they join the training camp here in Nairobi, we look at their daily subsistences, allowances. We pay for their travel, for their accommodation, and even we pay for their allowances when they are competing. If you win a medal, for instance, at the Olympic Games, if I were to use it an example, a gold medal is rewarded 3 million.
That's the new reverse.
Silver, 2 million. And then bronze, 1 million. And that has been the practice over time, except that, as you put it, the rate has been reviewed upward. There may be some cases, as Yegon put it, where there were some oversight. And what we did last year, in the month of November, we wrote to the federations for them to submit to us the list of any medalist who may not have had an opportunity to be compensated, to be rewarded for their win. Quite a number gave us their list. We reconciled with what the ministry has, and therefore I want to give assurance to the athletes who may, one way or another, had been left in the award scheme. That will be taken care of. But I can assure you, last year we paid around 55 million, and we will continue paying the athletes because they have brought glory to this country. That's what we need. As part of sports tourism, as part of promoting sports, and even ensuring that they earn and get something from their hard-earned talent, which God gave them.
The question would be, how soon? This is a 2024 case, and to be fair to you, you are also barely 10, 11 months at the ministry, but the question is, how soon?
Well, we are reconciling the reports that we got from the federations, and request even my friend Yegon, if he can still resubmit, if he felt that it has taken time, if he can resubmit that information that he has through the AK, the federations, we'll still look at it. And I can assure all the athletes, anybody who have earned a medal, as per the government policy, they are going to be compensated or rewarded accordingly.
We want to go big on AFCON preps, but before that, I want us to go to Safari Rally, and let's take a listen to what Waziri Salim Mvurya had to say regarding the preps for the Safari Rally 2026.
Because Safari Rally is not just a motorsporting event, you know, it is a function that is going to inspire the economic units of our country, the entire ecosystem. Shortly, there will be a meeting of key government agencies, Kenya Tourism Board, and many others, to brief them on the preparations, but also to find opportunities of engagement. If it is tourism, if it is the small micro enterprise development sector, you know, they find opportunities in those 4 days to ensure that the entire economic ecosystem is enhanced. There are many Kenyans who will be asking that this year was the end of the contract, you know, and just to assure you that we are already in engagement. And this time round, we are even looking at an extension of 5 years, so that we don't have a situation where every 3 years we are looking at 5 years. There's goodwill from FIA and other partners, and we are in a good place, you know, to secure an extension of 5 years.
That Waziri Salim Mvurya talking about the Safari Rally. Of course, it's coming shortly in the Easter, and all roads would be leading to that. PS, from where you're sitting, I know there's a discussion you guys have been having in the boardroom. Just in summary, maybe a minute or so, how are the preps to the WRC?
Well, thank you. WRC Safari Rally 2026 are due from 12th to 15th in Naivasha. As my CS has said, this time there is some change. The shakedown will be in Naivasha. We are used to have it here in Nairobi, at Kasarani after the flag off at KICC. But due to reasons that are beyond us, from FIA, the number of days that we used to have has been reduced. And therefore, technically, it was realized it would be difficult for us to have the safari rally come all the way from Naivasha to Nairobi for flag off, then shakedown and back to Naivasha. And after planning from the Secretariat, it was felt that they can still be done in Naivasha, Nakuru County. In this case, the shakedown will be in Naivasha near the prisons. And we invite all fans of Safari Rally to Naivasha on 12th. Then the rally shall still continue the way it has been done, and the finish shall be on 15th in the same venue where we have been. We are ready. We have facilitated the Secretariat for them to ensure that they have a seamless event. We have two issues that we have been looking into. Apart from the venue, the next issue has been the extension, as the CS have said. We have had 2 terms of 3 years each, which expires this year. And we are glad because there has been consistent deliberations with the FIA and the promoter to ensure that we get an extension. And as we have said, the extension there is all the likelihood that the extension will be granted for 5 years. And therefore, we shall have a seamless safari rally come the year 2026. Come, let's enjoy both
so
Kenyans and the other tourists.
2026 to 2031.
Absolutely.
Just hold that thought. And of course, talking of safari rally, one driver, Pauline Shegu, has been on the scene for quite some time. Let's take a listen to what Shegu had to say.
My name is Pauline Shegu, a rally driver. I'm preparing for the WRC Safari Rally, slated for 12th March to 15th in Naivasha. We are all set for this competition, and our objective is to continue to fly our flag high. So I hereby call on all our partners, corporates, sponsors to come forward, the government of Kenya, and support Team Pauline and all the Kenyan rally drivers out here. You know, we've done WRC 2023, 2024, and 2025, all to the podium. So even this year, we will not let you down. Our objective is to finish. So my humble appeal is for you to believe in us. Remember, our team, our brand team, is called the Queens of the Dust.
That's Madam Shegu. I'm sure this person well known to you.
Right.
And basically what Pauline is saying there, and she's speaking for several other drivers, these are very, very expensive sports. It requires a lot of money, corporate goodwill, and this is what most of them are facing. I know the government has supported her in the past, but apart from her, there are many others whose voices have not been heard.
Well, as you put it, it's just in Kenya where you find the WRC Safari Rally. And it's a great pride for us. We would wish that we take all what it takes so that we can have the Safari Rally continue operating in Kenya. And of course, apart from those professionals and elite who comes to rally, we have ours, like Pauline and the likes. And for us to ensure that we succeed and we have a very successful event, as a government, we are supporting the cause. And number 2, we are inviting the corporates to come on board. It is a great opportunity for us as a country to showcase what Kenya has, both in terms of tourism and the sports talent in as far as rally is concerned. And therefore, I want to support her. Let's come in large numbers, the fans, the corporates, sponsors, come. Let us support this WRC. It's a great pride, and we enjoy when we go to Naivasha.
Absolutely. Of course, Kenya, the only country hosting this, and it took us years, actually decades, for this calendar to come back to Kenya. Now, let's go to the biggest discussion of the day, and here we are talking about AFCON 2027. You know, when we got the hosting rights, people thought 2027 would never come, but now we are counting months. 2 weeks ago, you were in Morocco, as you said, and we saw you receive the flag, the CAF flag from the Confederation of African Football, basically a symbolic gesture, and to showcase that now from Morocco the baton heads to East Africa, which is Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. And there are concerns, there are sectors who are jittery, and rightfully so. You'd understand their pessimism. Borrowing from CHAN, we really struggled to host CHAN, Bwana PS. This had to be pushed back because in reality, our facilities were not ready. We had to race, but not beating that deadline. CAF were magnanimous enough to accept that. Ordinarily, they would strip the country of the hosting rights and take them to a venue that is ready to step in. With barely 15 months to go from where you sit, do you think we are confident we will host AFCON?
Well, Isaac, we are ready. And you are aware that Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda submitted their bid. It was accepted, having met the requirements by CAF to host AFCON. And therefore, from the CAF perspective, they have given us the green light. And of course, when we went to Morocco, together with our brothers from Kenya and Uganda, from Uganda and Tanzania, we were given the flag. So Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda are ready to host. As you put it, in the year 1996, Kenya had submitted their bid, equally 2018 for CHAN then, but it was not possible. But Kenyans are aware that last year we hosted a very successful CHAN here in Nairobi. Of course, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania is a pamoja team. We had submitted the required information when submitting our bid. Number one is the stadiums that are expected. Two, the hospitality, the transport infrastructure. And CAF were able to assess, and they gave us that green light. And therefore, come next year, we shall be ready with our Raila International Sports Complex. That is the Taranta. Right now, it is past 85% done. It has the training field. They have 3 training fields within Taranta itself, in addition to the playing field. Then we have the Nyayo Stadium, the 48, of course, Road 48,000 seater capacity. And we have 4 training fields within Nyayo. We have 2, Annex 1 and 2. And within, behind Nyayo, we have Kenya Academy of Sports. We have 2 more training fields. Then we have our Nyayo National Stadium. So we have 3 stadiums that we are submitting to be used for playing of. In addition to the other training fields that we have, the Ulinzi, we have the Nyayo, we have the Police Sacco. Then we have
Kasarani, Annex 1, 2.
Utari. So I had indicated we have 3 in Taranta. We have 4, that is Kasarani 1 and 2.
2 years.
And 2 in Kenya Academy of Sports. Then we have the Ulinzi, we have Police Sacco, and we had developed Utari. Training field here in Thika Road. So we have almost 10 training field. In addition to the other stadiums that we are developing. For Kirigiti, we are aware that by come November, it shall be done. We had the small issues which we are sorting out with the contractor. But even outside Nairobi, there is a stadium that the president has directed that we do in Mwangi. We are working in Kiambu, in Machakos, and we are also renovating the Afra Stadium in Nakuru, including the Eldoret Stadium, Bukogu Stadium, so many everywhere.
Waziri, do you think these stadiums will be ready, even if they're to be used as training ground? I know you've highlighted the facilities we're going to use for the training ground, but what's the timeline? For example, on Bukogu Stadium, we've been seeing leo unaenda pale, playing surface imetolewa, mvua inanyesha, it becomes like a pool, work stalls. This has been the case in the last 3-4 years.
Well, you know, CAF, through the AFCON will be 70 years this year. And Kenya will join CAF in celebrating that anniversary of 70 years. You are aware also that in this region, we have never hosted
an AFCON.
Yeah. Despite the one that was done 50 years in Ethiopia.
Yeah,
and it's a great opportunity for us. The stadiums that we are developing, of course, we are already here in Nairobi. I've said we have Nyayo, we have Kasarani, and in addition, we have Taranta, which was not there when we were submitting our bid. And we have 10 training fields. Then outside Nairobi, you have indicated the Kipchoge Keino in Eldoret, in Nandi already has started, but there are others that are progressing very well. I've been in Bukugu, and Bukugu has been used for some other events. For instance, we had the Kenya Secondary Schools Games in Kongongo. It will be ready. We have a contractor on site right now, and they have done the additional terraces that were missing, and we believe that the seats that may be required now for hosting will be there. And even on the other counties, the Siaya, we have a contractor who is working on it. Homa Bay, of course, we have something. We have the Kitui already done. The one that are starting right now will be ready. The contract that we are giving to them is 12 months. The contractors that we have identified are the contractors that have proved over time that they can deliver within.
Clarity on this. Homa Bay, Kakamega, and the many stadia within the counties we are mentioning.
Right.
Upgrading, I want to believe, is meant to elevate the level or the quality of sports facilities, but they are not in any way tied to the AFCON. Or are we going to use some of them for the training venues?
Well, we will be inviting officers from the technical officers from CAF. From their schedule, they were to come in March. We have the WAFCON, the women games again in Morocco. So we have invited them to come in advance this month of February so that we can have discussion. Of course, we are aware that the 3 stadiums in Nairobi are adequate, but we would wish that the Kenyans from the other side who are not in Nairobi, they can also have an opportunity to experience the AFCON. And therefore, we had indicated that Kipchoge Keino in Eldoret may be a very good venue for some of the games. Now it will depend with the assessment.
For the fans to go watch or to play the match?
It was meant for praying, one of the venue for praying with training fields. 64 Stadium, we had to develop the Eldoret University and Kipchoge Keino in Nandi, which were meant to be the training fields to support Kipchoge Keino in Eldoret we have the training fields as a praying field. So Kipchoge Keino in Eldoret was meant to be one of the venue for playoff, but we developed 64 Stadium, the Eldoret University, Kipchoge Keino in Nandi to be part of the training fields. But then it will be determined by CAF when they come in the month of February. Right.
Good. There's a question on screen there, and we can have those images from CAF. And there too, this Victor Sakwa Skelly, and is asking, where are the watch parties? Not everyone can afford tickets to the stadium. Now, I want you to address this in terms of our crowd control mechanism, and we'll be having that footage shortly on screen. During CHAN, crowd trouble was our Achilles heel, Bwana Mwangi. We struggled with this. Let's call a spade a spade. So much so that CAF sanctioned us. So many fans couldn't go watch the Stars matches when capacity was reduced because we didn't manage crowd control so well. And those images speak for itself. What measures are we putting in place? 14 months from now could look far, but it's not really far. What measures are we putting in place to ensure come June, July next year, these teething problems do not again come to haunt us?
We are implementing some of the recommendations that were forwarded to us when we hosted CHAN. And the issues of safety and security, both for fans and players were paramount. And it is still paramount for AFCON in as far as CAF is concerned, and even for any other well-wisher. Now, one of the recommendations is to ensure that we have security blocks approximately 5 kilometers from the stadium, which we wish to implement. But also, we also took a team from the LOC to Morocco as part of benchmarking, and they were also able to learn how Morocco had done their planning in as far as hosting the just recent AFCON is concerned. But to ensure that each Kenyans get an opportunity to have almost near real experience with AFCON, this time round we will be having the fan zones across the country. We have time to plan for that. We have allocated resources, and we are working with the LOC team to ensure that by November, everything that is expected is put in place. And therefore, I want to tell our fans, Kenyans, be ready. We shall come to you. Those who may not make it to Nairobi and any other space that we shall be having the games, we will come to you. To the fan zones.
Waziri, AFCON is thrice as bigger than CHAN.
Right.
So actually, what we did last year has to be really scaled up. And actually, you are in Morocco, and the LOC, some of them to benchmark. And Morocco, you saw how excellent the transport system is there. I can go there, be domiciled in Marrakech for the games, but I'll travel to Rabat on time because of the excellent railway system. Here we don't have that. What are we putting in place? Because if we are to use, we can't even mention public transport here.
Isaac, you live here in Nairobi. When we hosted CHAN in Kasarani, there was nothing that prevented fans from accessing Kasarani. Right now, we have the Taranta, or the Raila Odinga Stadium. The plan, which is already on progress, is that the railway that connects Kibera, it shall be upgraded. And we have the Kenya Railways working on it already, so that it can have fans movement between Nyayo, Kibera, up to Taranta, including Kawagware and Dagoretti part of it. Equally, there is a road that has already been earmarked. There is a contractor who is finalizing on the final designs, connecting the southern bypass to Taranta, so that then we can ease the movement. And of course, you have realized that the Gong Road, there is a roadworks that is ongoing. And more so, Kenyans, they are good people. And they love sports. And if they are informed in advance that there are these roads that are gonna to be crossed, they understand, and we expect that the transport network, that is the use of the public transport and of course the private transport systems, will be enhanced. The team that went to Morocco, they witnessed how organized the capital was, and those other venues that hosted AFCON. And those are the learning that we are going to implement. So nobody should be scared. We are okay, and we shall ensure that fans, the players, the officials, sponsors, they'll have easy access and exit to our stadiums.
Time is running, Bwana PS. We can even talk for 2 hours. But there is another question from Tom Ouko in Homa Bay Town. He says, Lakers Hockey Club are the champions of Africa for ladies. They won it last week against Ghana Revenue Authority team. Is the ministry aware? Will they be rewarded? I think you already talked about the reward scheme. But basically, maybe a thought on this. Rugby, hockey, we are not doing very, very well, more so in terms of facility. You go to Parklands, we have a very dilapidated facility there, probably built during the colonial era, and not much has changed.
To some extent, we have lagged behind in infrastructure development. Right now, we are working on The majority of them are on maybe football, athletics, and in some cases may be used for rugby purpose. But we have identified the other space that are to be used by the other sports discipline, including tennis, of course our indoor arenas, but we are planning and we have already engaged extensively to ensure that part of these infrastructure are developed privately. There are some issues in sports. There are those stadiums that we would wish as a government to develop, but since they are not public, it brings some issues. For matters to do with compensation or sports, it doesn't matter. All sports, if you win, we have a policy, we are going to compensate. Let me talk about two things. This one may be known by Kenyans. Between 14th and 15th of this month, we shall be hosting the HSBC Safari, HSBC Sevens in Nyayo. And we want to invite Kenyans. Please come, let's share our people. You know where we have been in matters rugby. Let's come, let's support them so that we can get back to where we were. And then Magical Kenya Open. Our golf event shall be happening in Karen Country Club between 19th and 22nd of this month. Let's come, let's support our team because we want to support all sports disciplines. These are international competitions that are being hosted. And I want Kenyans to know we are not only supporting football. We are supporting all sports discipline, hosting international here, or supporting them when they work outside the country.
Bwana Pierce, time is really running. We have 3 minutes left to go. But before you give us your closing remarks, I want to take this final question. Right. And he says, hello Mwangi, that's the PS. Right. Thanks a lot for informative sports progress. My question is on the sports syllabus brought about by CBE. Since your ministry is rich in technical knowledge, have you been in discussion with the Ministry of Education for the shared playfield and other sports? Maybe a minute on this.
Well, as the CS, you heard him say, since we are reviewing our Sports Act, we need to ensure that it brings on board the new developments in academics. We have had some discussions with the Minister of Education. They sit in the majority of our boards. They are represented in the panel that is reviewing the Sports Act. But 3 things that Kenyans may know. The Kenya Academy of Sports, technically, they have a mandate on talent development. We are developing sports academies in several constituencies. Right now, we have 37 sports academies, and majority of them are being developed in school compounds. This one is meant to ensure that the learners in those schools may use part of those sports academies as part of their model for training. And therefore, the CBE that is being implemented by the Ministry of Education, the sports and arts pathway, we have already identified a niche in the sports because as part of developing talent, and majority of the talent you may be aware are in the school systems. There are those who are in primary school, there are those who are in secondary schools. Right. So after the school games that are organized by the Kenya Secondary Schools Association, the Kenya Academy of Sports, they identify the best. They bring them on board in holiday camps where they bring the best coaches, they impact some skills, but then we want to ensure that we have as many sports academies across the country so that apart from bringing them in Nairobi, they can be accommodated in those sports academies. And number 2, the curriculum that has been developed, our officers from the Ministry at the Kenya Academy of Sport, they are involved to get the curriculum development so that they can have some of the aspects that are expected in sports to be put as part of the training materials within the schools. And thirdly, the Kenya Academy of Sport, again, because they are the one mandated to do the talent development, they have a program with the schools where we visit schools, we talk to them, the runners, as part of capacity building and bringing to them the career path that learners who are in schools can identify them with. For instance, the careers through the physiotherapists, the engineers, the doctors, statisticians, majority of runners may not be aware. So we have a plan, a program that we use, one, to visit the schools, but also to have a national conference where we bring learners and those experts to talk to them on the careers in sports.
Yeah, finally, we are out of time, but I want you to look into that camera. And
Right.
this is the challenge I'm throwing to you. Just look directly ahead of you.
Right.
2027 is an election year. There's going to be a lot of political heat. In 30 seconds, we're out of time. Your pledge to Kenya on this AFCON in light of the challenges we are facing next year.
Well, Kenyan, we want you to experience the best AFCON in this region. We are prepared as a government, working together with federations and the local organizing committee to ensure that we get to bring to you the best AFCON. Our team, Harambee Stars, we are supporting them. We are supporting the FKF. We are supporting the LOC. We are working together with our colleagues from our Kenya and Tanzania. Despite 2027 being an election year, we don't expect anything that will prevent us from hosting the best AFCON.
All systems go.
All systems go.
Thank you so much, Bwana PS.
Thank you.
The sports PS, Elijah Mwangi, of course, speaking to us on a number of issues, the state of sport in the country. And of course, key to that has been the state of infrastructure. But in his own words, they are doing everything possible to make AFCON run smoothly. And of course, we will be here to keep him to task on the pledges made today. And of course, we have those recordings, and we hope to do this again sometime next year.
Yeah.
And thank you for making
this
this the
year,
program.
as we progress.
Absolutely. That has been Quickfire segment here on Sporty Monday Citizen TV. And of course, we have lots lined up for you. Same time, same place next week. Thank you for cheering us on. On behalf of the team, Ibrahim, the director, Ziti, Jacob, the camera persons, and everybody who's made this possible, we say thank you. Bye-bye from us. I'm Isaac Swila.